So here I'm going to review a couple settings and just show a couple other screens about this Chartbrew setup. Here I'm in the Strapi Dashboard or Admin Panel, and I've clicked on the Chartbrew setup settings here. So what I had done originally was I went into the API token screen and I created an API token, and then I copied and pasted it down here. You can't see it now because I've already pasted it in this area. So if you wanted to remove your access, you would just click this button here, and then you could put in a new API token if you needed to later. So I did do that. And then here you can see these other settings to connect to the Chartbrew. So here's the front end URL, which I'll be showing that in a moment, and then the back end URL. And so what I did was I did a fork of the Chartbrew GitHub repo and put it into this Heroku app. So that's running with a database in the background. And here you can see this URL. And if I hit refresh, it just reloads it so we know that it's active. So I wanted to point that out. That's actually the back end for this Chartbrew. That's where the Chartbrew would be accessed and stored. And here is the front end. It's running on Vercel. And we can see that right here. So I had also deployed the front end of the GitHub repo for Chartbrew to Vercel. And that's what this URL is here. So you have to make sure that you get these URLs put in properly. And then I went into the Chartbrew here, and there's a settings screen that you can go into to create an API token. So you do need to do that. Once you create that API token over in the Chartbrew front end dashboard, you put it right here, and then you click save and check the connection, and you should get a success message if it was able to communicate properly. So that's basically the setup steps to get the Chartbrew front end and back end connected to the Strapi Chartbrew plugin. Once we create some Chartbrew dashboards and charts and graphs, we'll take a look at them in the front end Chartbrew application. And also, I just wanted to show the Heroku deployment. So you can see here the Mr. Dashboard / Chartbrew. That is where the GitHub repo is connected to. And then down here you can see in the settings screen, this is the same URL that you'll notice is right here. So this is the Heroku application that's actually running the Chartbrew backend. And we can see here that there's a JAWS MySQL database installed. And I will point out there's a build pack here. This subdirectory Heroku build pack has to be installed. And then you have to do a config variable that tells it that it is the backend or server side code that is actually running here in the Heroku application. And so this is what it looks like when you have your Chartbrew up and running in Heroku. So I also wanted to briefly show the Vercel deployment. This is for the Chartbrew. That's the URL that I just showed, chartbrew-blush.vercel.app. So if we click into that, we can see here it shows the login screen, which would be the login for the Chartbrew dashboard front end that I just mentioned that I deployed. And so here you can see the domain or URL for this application. And here is the Git tab where you can see the Mr. Dashboard / Chartbrew, and the branch name was the master branch. And here you can see the root directory is specified as client. That is the client directory of the Chartbrew code from the GitHub repo. So you need to make sure that that's specified so that this Vercel knows where to build and run the code from. So now I'm back in the Chartbrew dashboard page. And so we have this button here, create new visualization. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And so here you can see the different collection types that are in Strapi in this admin panel. So let's go ahead and click on one of these options here. So go ahead and click on user. And now we see some different options that the plugin will generate these charts for you. There are 4 pre-selected: total users, users in the last 30 days, users in the last year, and updates in the last 30 days. So you can check or uncheck which ones of these that you would like it to create for you. And it defaults the created at field and the updated field. And the other thing is you can click in this drop down box. If you want to put them into one of these other dashboards, you can select one of those, or you can just generate the charts and it will create a new dashboard inside of the Chartbrew admin panel. So I'll go ahead and create the charts. So here we can see the new users report and graphs and charts. I realize there's not a lot of good data in here, but it is just a sample application and a sample database, but it did go ahead and create those for us. And then if we go into the Chartbrew front end, you can see the reports are here too. And if I click on the home button, we can see it stuck them here into the users report. So we can click on that and then you can see the charts. And I would like to point out a few things about these charts that are really cool. If you wanted to refresh the chart, you could do that. If you wanted to automatically update, you can click on that and it asks you how often do you want to update, which is pretty handy. Also, if you wanted to edit the parameters of the chart, you can do that. There's a very powerful editor. If you want to export to Excel, you can do that. If you wanted to share it, you can click on that link or embed it as a iframe in another application. You can also change the size of them by just clicking these options here, and you can change the order, move down or move to the bottom. So there's a lot of really neat features here once you get your dashboard set up. And if you wanted to create a separate dashboard screen, you can click on connections. And here I had created a connection back to the Strapi API, so it works both ways. You can either create them from within the Chartbrew plugin, or you can come into the dashboard here and make a connection secured back to your Strapi API and your Strapi Admin Panel where your data is at, and then get data and bring it in that way. Or you can click Add New Connection, and we can look at this in a future video. But for instance, you could click on API and then you would fill in the information of where the data was located. And if it needs to be authenticated with like a bearer token, you can go ahead and put that in there. I also like the test connection button. That's very handy to know if it works. So one last thing, I'll go ahead and choose a different report that I had created a little bit earlier, this log data for systems report. So this has a little bit more data in it. You can see like some trends, if things are going up, if they're going down. So it's pretty interesting what this tool can do for you. So with all that said, I am very excited. I thank you for watching these videos and for learning about the Strapi Headless CMS and about the Chartbrew tool and the Chartbrew Strapi plugin. All of these things do take a little bit of configuration to get set up and running, but once you do, I think they're really easy to use and very powerful. So you have a great day and we'll see you in another video. If you like this channel, please like and subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when I post new content.